Lead singer of TLC, Tiana T. Balls Watkins, and former NFL MVP, Santonio Holmes, are both battling a disease called sickle cells. I have some other words in here. What is sickle cells?
They always talk to patients about sickle cell disease, make sure they understand that how you get sickle cell disease is an inherited disease.
It's called sickle cell anemia because the disease actually depletes your blood volume level, where you end up being anemic and you are deprived of oxygen and you have to manage the symptoms that go along with it.
It's pretty much a hemoglobinopathy where it causes chronic problems. Instead of the red blood cells being normal, they are actually sickle, and that produces a lot of the complications related to sickle cell disease.
A red blood cell normally is like a disc shape, okay, and the oxygen is on the inside. With the sickle cell person, they'll have some normal red cells, and then they'll have some that are defective with that gene. And what happens is when they release that oxygen, their blood, the cell actually becomes a sickle shape. And because it's a sickle shape, it gets caught in different parts of the circulatory system and in the organs. And it creates a situation where a person may become iron overload. They may have painful, a lot of pain when they're in sickle crisis. Their liver may be affected because the liver acts to clean up to clean the body, and if they get lodged in the spleens, then sometimes they have to have the spleen removed. And those sickle cells are causing damage to your organs and causing damage to your vessels.
Although African Americans are mostly affected by sickle cell anemia, there are some Hispanics with the disease as well, but the trait is found heavily in the African American community. Symptoms of sickle cell anemia includes, but are not limited to, anemia, episodes of pain, painful swelling of hands and feet, frequent infections, delayed growth, and also vision problems. Most sickle cell patients usually live a very conservative life to avoid these effects that can leave them in and out of the hospital.
Like I said, I found out that I had sickle cell at the age of 23. Right after I found this out, like I said, I was getting prepared to have surgery. And I couldn't have surgery because I found out that I was expectant.
I had sickle cell my whole life since I was a little boy. My mom was very cautious with me because I had the sickle cell disease, like going outside the plan. At times I could, and then sometimes, with the disease, it'll stop me from doing certain activities like football, basketball, certain sports that young boys like to do growing up.
I have sickle cell trait. Well, quite honestly, it really hasn't affected my life to the extent that a person with sickle cell anemia might have, but I do have to make sure that I'm hydrated, that I'm taking care of myself physically, that I exercise, and that my diet is right.
A lot of stuff can trigger the crisis. I think mine's mainly is staying hydrated, and not overdoing it. You know, stress trigger it, you know, overdoing it, and, you know, not drinking plenty of water. A lot of stuff as far as the weather can trigger your crisis.
And not only expect number one, I was expect number two. So it was a possibility that both of my twins would come out having sickle cell or the trait. Because both parents had sickle cell, one had sickle cell and one had the trait. After delivering, I now have one twin that has the sickle cell disease, SS, and I have a twin that has the C trait. It was part of my SC disease. Thankfully, both of them didn't have it. But I'm not only a person that has sickle cell, I have to care for someone that has the full-blown sickle cell disease.
That you can just do basic genetic and do cross multiplication, which shows that if you have two parents with sickle cell trait, that every time they have a child, there's a 25% chance of them having sickle cell disease. Also, on the other end of the spectrum, there's also that same 25% chance of them having normal children, a normal child. And then, of course, that same two parents, there's a 50% chance of them having a child with sickle cell trait. It doesn't mean they're definitely going to have a child with sickle cell disease, because that's the scary part of it. My patients look at me frightened. What it is that there's a 25% chance every time they have a child.
So I can remember, you know, being in the hospital for a whole month, and by the third day, I've been in pain for 3 days straight, not getting no relief. And mentally, you know, it bothered me, because I feel you know, deep down inside, I'm stronger than what I'm going through. But after a while, being in that hospital, that week turned into a whole month. My oxygen been very low. My blood count was very low. My hemoglobin been very low. I think my hemoglobin came all the way down to about 3 or 4. Being that low, that's almost like close to a near-death experience.